Which NFL division is the most talented going into the 2020 NFL season? In this video, I break down the NFC West All-Star team going into 2020. The Seahawks, the Cardinals, the 49ers, and the Rams, the best players on these teams at every position, the all-star squad of the NFC West. Before I break down the all-star, all-division team for the NFC West, make sure that you do spike the like button, subscribe to the Bottom Line View for more NFL videos just like this, and comment below your opinion on Team NFC West. I've been hearing a lot in the comments, this is the best team, this is the best division. Well, let me know in the comments if you agree. Is this the best team? Is this the best all-star squad in the NFL for any division? Let me know in the comments section below. At the quarterback position for the NFC West, it is not even close who the best quarterback in this division is. It's clearly Russell Wilson. I mean, Wilson, he has an argument for being the best quarterback in the NFL, the most valuable player in the NFL. Whether it's magic outside the pocket, making four people miss, evading a sack, throwing a deep ball, Russell Wilson can make more out of less than any quarterback in the league. Russell Wilson has maybe the best deep ball in the league, and Russell Wilson is a winner. That's why he's the NFC West quarterback. At the running back position, my first pick is Chris Carson, also of the Seahawks. Chris Carson is the most underrated power running back in the NFL. This guy breaks a lot of tackles. He's really good in between tackles, and the Seahawks love to run the football, so it's important to them that they have really good running backs and really good consistent play at the running back position. Carson's also a little undervalued for his ability to catch the ball out of the backfield. He's not asked to split out and do all that kind of stuff as a receiver, but he can catch the football here and there. But most importantly, he's going to just get up in there inside, and he's going to be able to rumble for some yards, the tough yards that the Seahawks need in crucial situations. At the other running back position, I'm going with a more well-rounded back that can do a little bit of receiving here and there. You could split them out. But I was super impressed with how Kenyon Drake was able to just come into Arizona and just be that guy, like right away. He's a really good receiver, as I mentioned, but his ability to just one cut and go with that speed is really impressive. He was like a match made in heaven for this Cardinals offensive running scheme, and he took advantage of every single hole that was to be had. Kenyon Drake is probably the most slept on running back in the league going into 2020. At the wide receiver and tight end positions, the NFC West made a huge move, a huge add in adding DeAndre Hopkins as that number one wide receiver for the Arizona Cardinals, that number one option that Kyler Murray was missing in 2019. He now has in 2020 in DeAndre Hopkins. While I may say that he might be slightly overrated, I do feel like Hopkins is one of the 6 best receivers in the game. He's unreal with the ball in the air, with the body control, with the ability to make some of the most ridiculous grabs you've seen in the history of the game. Hopkins is that number one receiver for the NFC West. The number 2 spot is interesting. You could argue for quite a few people here for the other 2 spots in the NFC West, but I ultimately went with the chemistry. I went with Tyler Lockett at number 2 for Russell Wilson, because Tyler Lockett has an awesome chemistry with Russell Wilson, especially when the play breaks down. That is what it's all about. To be Russell Wilson's number 1 target, you need to be amazing in the scramble drill. And due to Tyler Lockett's incredible speed, ability to change direction, and smarts, he is that option for Russell Wilson. And he's also amazing down the field and great with the ball in his hands as a former returner. At the slot position, I'm going with Cooper Kupp. This is one of the smartest, savviest wide receivers in football right now. He's also deceptive in terms of his speed, his height, his ability athletically. Cooper Kupp is a perfect fit for Sean McVay's offense and the perfect slot receiver for the NFC West. At the tight end position, none other than the best tight end in the game right now. That is George Kittle. Kittle can block with the best of them. He can catch the football. He can run after the catch better than anybody in the game. Kittle is a warrior. He's a fierce competitor and the type of tight end that any team wants. The San Francisco 49ers needed to act fast when it came to replacing Joe Staley at the left tackle position. And they did just that with Trent Williams. Not only did they replace Staley, but they upgraded. I don't care that he hasn't played in a year. This guy's unreal. Nobody ever has a great day versus Trent Williams. Nobody has ever dominated Trent Williams. You might get lucky on a rep or two per game, but you're not beating him with consistency. He's way too good. He's arguably a Hall of Famer. At the other tackle spot, that's where it got a little bit difficult. You have to determine whether it's going to be the veteran Brown of the Seahawks or the veteran Whitworth of the Rams. So you choose. I'm going with Brown because I think he was better last year. Whitworth has been better throughout the course of his career, but I think Brown, due to his play right now, protecting Russell Wilson, I'm going to go with him at the right tackle position. Plus, he's probably a little bit more athletic at this point than Whitworth at this point in their careers. In the interior of the NFC West line, a few underrated names here for you. Let's start off at the left guard position with Tomlinson of the 49ers, who really was one of the biggest breakout interior lineman of the 2019 season. A huge reason the 49ers were just absolutely steamrolling people in the running game. Tomlinson is the perfect fit for the Kyle Shanahan zone scheme. On the opposite guard position, Justin Pugh, who is a do-it-all offensive lineman, play a little tackle, play a little guard, pass protect very well. Kyler Murray, that's his number one lineman in Arizona. At the center position, I have Weston Richburg, who played with Pugh in New York not long ago, former teammates, reuniting here in the NFC West All-Star squad. Richburg is the type of center that Shanahan loves because he can move really well in the running game. The center in that scheme is more crucial than in most other schemes because of the way that they have to move around and block in the running game, in the screen game. They're very crucial as a big-time, really good athlete. That's the type of guy you need at this center spot, and Richburg is that. Now to the defensive side of the football, starting off in the interior defensive line, it's none other than a guy named Aaron Donald. He's pretty good, as far as I remember. I think PFF just ranked him as the number one player in football, which might be debatable, but he's one of the best, if not the best, defensive player in the league right now. At the other defensive tackle spot, I went with Eric Armstead. You probably would have said DeForest Buckner before he was traded to the Colts. Armstead's not bad, man. He's really good. He's especially good because he is versatile. He is kind of like the Michael Bennett of the 49ers Seattle scheme defense. He plays on the outside on first and second down as a run defender. He can play in the interior as a pass rusher on third down or on big passing downs, and he can move all around the defensive line. He's athletic enough to play on the edge, big enough and strong enough to play in the inside, really like Armstead. At the edge position, Nick Bosa is an animal. I understand he's only had one season, but in that one season, he was one of the most disruptive defensive players in the entire NFL, and it's probably only going to get better. At the other edge spot is the most underrated defensive player of the last 10 years. I'm talking about Chandler Jones, who I think leads the NFL in sacks since like 2014 or something crazy like that. Yet nobody gives this guy credit. Maybe we're starting to come around now, but Chandler Jones is awesome, and he is one of the best pure pass rushers in the sport. He has a chance, when his career is all said and done, to be one of the leaders in all-time sacks. At the linebacker position, Bobby Wagner is the leader, the animal at the second level that the NFC West really needs. Doesn't have a flaw in his game. Excellent football player, arguably a Hall of Famer. At the other linebacker spot, Warner of the 49ers, who fits this scheme perfectly and is basically the 49ers version of Bobby Wagner. He might not be as physical, but he is every bit as good in coverage, if not better, and younger, and only getting smarter. So Warner is an awesome complement to what Wagner also does really well. In the secondary, the NFC West is very complete. Jalen Ramsey on one side, Richard Sherman on the other side. Those are two guys that have played this Seattle scheme throughout the course of their career. Remember, Ramsey played it in Jacksonville at a very high level. People were calling him the best corner in football, and he might be that soon again, just in a totally different scheme in LA. And that speaks to Ramsey's ability. He is not only great as a man corner, he's great as a zone corner. He's athletically very, very gifted. He's physical. He has the speed. He can match up with any receiver in the game. Richard Sherman, at this point, isn't as fast as he used to be, can't jump as high as he used to be, but is probably the smartest corner I've ever seen, and probably the best zone corner of all time, period. And then in the nickel, Shaquille Griffin. Griffin doesn't get enough credit, man. He's a really good player and basically was asked to replace Sherman when he left to San Francisco. That's a hard thing to do, but he's done it really well, especially last year. He plays more on the outside, but because of this exercise, I'm putting him in the nickel, and I think he would succeed there because he's a really good athlete. At the safety position, Jimmy Ward. If Griffin doesn't want to play in the nickel, then just put Jimmy Ward there because he can do that. Or he could play linebacker, or he could play strong safety, or he could play free safety. He could play in run support. He could play at coverage. That's Jimmy Ward in a nutshell. At the strong safety position, I'm going with Budda Baker. Budda Baker is probably the most underrated defensive secondary player in this division. He's a really good athlete, very young, but because the Cardinals have not been very good, not enough credit, but he is going to be a guy that you have to watch out for in these next couple seasons as the Cardinals gain some steam. Now to the coaching staff. The head coach, to me, is Pete Carroll. He's had success at the college level. He's had success in the NFL level. He's won a national championship. He's won a Super Bowl. He's gone to another Super Bowl and barely lost. And yes, made some decisions along the way that people don't like. And I do feel like Pete Carroll doesn't get a really good rap because he's not really like innovative. He's not like an offensive guy. He's not a super defensive guy. He's just a really good teacher. He's a really good leader, and he has a really good command of his players. And I think that goes undervalued in today's NFL because everybody wants like the Kyle Shanahan guy, but Pete Carroll is the guy that doesn't get enough credit. At the offensive coordinator, speak of the man, Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan is the OC because he has arguably the best offensive system in the league. He's proven that when he was an OC, he's the best in the league, and he can basically do it with any sort of talent. You've seen in different teams and different places, he's been able to take quarterbacks of different skill sets and make them really better than they are and elevate the talent at wide receiver, running back, offensive line, quarterback. That's what a truly gifted offensive coordinator does. And then the defensive coordinator, I'm going with Robert Saleh, also of the 49ers. He had a great season last year coaching up this unit, and he runs the same scheme that Pete Carroll loves to run in Seattle. So it makes a lot of sense. He's also from Seattle. So I feel like that's a great blend of coaches. And when you're talking about the NFC West, a lot of these players are going to be running that Seattle defense, and it's going to be very easy, if this were real, for them to go out on the field and just instantly click because they all know their scheme and all know the assignments. Special teams wise, Robbie Gould is the kicker. He's just been the consistent guy throughout the course of his career. Rough spot early in the season last year, but just really, really good down the stretch. The punter is Johnny Hekker. For probably the last decade, he's been the best punter in the game. Trick plays, throwing the football, kicking it, punting it, whatever it may be. Hekker is the man. And the returner is Richie James of the 49ers. Really quality returner last year, punt returning and kick returning. So I'm going to put Richie James there. That is Team NFC West for the 2020 season. Let me know in the comments after I gave you the team. Is this the best team in the league? Is this the best all-star team? Or is there a better one in the NFC or the AFC? Let me know in the comment section below. It's Mitch. Thanks for watching. Peace.